Before I begin this video, I just want to quickly give my condolences out to this man, Jithin, who happened to be one of the people working on the Red Ape Family. As trashy as I think this show is, I want to take a moment to reinforce the fact that I don't actually hate any of the people behind this show, and neither should you. They may have made incredibly goofy decisions and created what may be the worst animated series I've ever seen, but at the end of the day, they're people just like us, and we need to remember that, so my heart goes out to Jithin's friends and family. Hashem, on the other hand, seems to believe that they'll be able to preserve this man's name and legacy by, quote, making sure that this show is the best show in the history of all sitcoms. No. This show's gonna be about as successful as Google Stadia. I'm telling you right now. Now, if I told you guys the Red Ape Family had a full-on watch party, would you believe me? No? Because they did. They had one. In my last video, my friend and I got to witness the world's very first NFT-oriented animated series, and it was the longest 8.5 minutes of our entire lives. We also learned that 2 Chainz is one of the producers, which, let's be honest, if you're a celebrity and it's gotten to the point where your career boils down to spending hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars on a funny monkey picture on the internet, you're quite a sad celebrity. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. My last video on this series got a crazy amount of support, nearing 1,000 views as of writing this, and we even reached 101 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough, as the support is absolutely overwhelming. If you want to watch our full reaction to the episode, the original link will be in the description, but for this video, I just want to give my own semi-professional opinions on what I see wrong with this entire show, aside from the obvious fact that hundreds of people blew several months of mortgage payments on this stuff. One of the biggest problems that stands out is the plot, or lack thereof. The transitions between different scenes are never smooth, completely unannounced, and I could feel myself getting whiplash each time the location changed and different characters were introduced. I think the best example of this is when the makeshift Planet Express arrives to take British woman and Chucky, who is the only character whose name I can remember. Literally out of nowhere, these 2 creatures appear in the room besides them doing a salute for whatever reason. It's never explained where they came from, how they got there so quickly, or why they're even there to begin with. They're just there. From what I was able to gather amongst the incoherent bits and pieces of what I think is supposed to be a storyline, Chucky queues up for a solo heist and makes off with a USB flash drive containing the world's most expensive NFT. The NSF catches wind of his mischief and, equipped with the latest and greatest Omnitrix technology readily available, attempt to track him down. Fortunately, he manages to escape from Earth and flees to Mars with his family in order to begin their new lives as intergalactic art dealers, and this is where the first episode concludes. I'm gonna be completely honest, I genuinely believe that it'd be much easier to understand the lore behind Eli Socre's entire YouTube channel, and quite frankly, it's also more entertaining. Another great example of terrible transitions is the end of the episode. If you watched the previous video, you'll know that it took me a full 3 seconds after the episode ended to realize that the episode had ended. It's bad enough that I could barely keep up with what was happening as the show actually ran, but the fact that I wasn't able to process that it had ended for up to 3 seconds after shouldn't be a problem. I posted my video in the Red Ape Family Discord server, because they have one, in a speedrun attempt, and I'm betting that if they left the message up after banning me, one of the lead designers behind the project is going to see it and accuse me of being a feeble-minded simpleton who simply lacks the brain power to comprehend such divine comedy. Let's not forget that over 200 people paid almost $10,000 each to get ownership of this video, which is honestly incredibly sad. The average monthly mortgage payment for a homeowner in the US is $1,275. This means these people spent up to 8 or 9 months worth of mortgage payments on the Red Ape Family, and for what? To be made fun of on the internet by literally anybody with common sense. You're all probably scratching your hairy chins wondering why I haven't brought up the animation yet, and that's because compared to every other issue this show has, there are more problems with the animation than there are books in the Bible, and therefore I wanted to save it for last. I'm not an animator by any means, but I can confidently assure all of you watching at home that this is not what your show should look like if you're hyping it up to be bigger than South Park's post-COVID special. The lip sync is limited to around 4 to 6 individual frames. It doesn't even match up half the time. The characters and backdrops rarely blend in a natural way, and as I mentioned in the reaction video, there's a lot of errors that almost seem to have been inspired directly by those found in High Guardian Spice. Don't even get me started on that one. If you look closely, you can see the characters look as though they were haphazardly cropped out of a PNG in Microsoft Paint and animated using Windows Movie Maker. The backdrops aren't very different, which brings us back to my point that the character backdrop blending, or to be more specific, the consistency of it, is absolutely atrocious. In some shots the focus is fine and works with the scene, and other times it's nearly impossible to differentiate the characters from the environment. Couple this with the kindergarten quality artwork and you get this amalgamation that makes the problem solvers look like a museum exhibition. In conclusion today, gamers, I'm fully convinced sense that you could get an even more coherent storyline out of a single caveman drawing than you would watching the entirety of this episode of the Red Ape Family. I think the concept of selling your crappy internet show as its own NFT in exchange for several mortgages is kind of low, and especially when there was little to no effort actually put into the development or production of it. I don't want to say this thing is worth absolutely nothing, because I could see myself in the far, far future obtaining my own copy of it in exchange for a Q-tip I shoved up my pooper to see what it would be like if potty time defied the laws of gravity. Before I go, I'd like to quickly thank the hundreds of you guys who stopped by my channel to check out my reaction. I was genuinely surprised by how quickly that video blew up, and I'm glad to know that you all enjoyed it so much. However, I'm sure there were a couple of you who clicked on the video to dislike out of spite, only to discover that the dislike button is about as useful as a broken condom. Thankfully for you, I've got the solution to your troubles. In the description, I've left a link to a Google Chrome extension that restores the user's ability to view how many dislikes a video has. I'm not providing this as a method for you to come back and start dislike bombing my videos again, because I honestly prefer you don't, but rather to encourage you guys to stand up to YouTube in their latest anti-consumer decision. I'm not going to get into that entire situation because I'm pretty sure Jesus and his disciples have heard about it at this point. I just think you should be aware that there is a way to bypass this little stunt, which I didn't even know about up until a couple days ago. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you want to see more content like this, be sure to pound that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want to be notified whenever I upload an absolute banger, ring that bell. You already know how it goes. Thanks again for all the support you guys have shown recently. I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.